Hello everyone and welcome to week 9, and in this week's lecture we're going to be looking at a few of the punctuation marks. So I'll take you through the lecture, and part of the outcomes involves just a quick revision of Sesotho vowels and consonants, the different types of punctuations, using Sesotho consonant diagraphs for formulating sentences with punctuation, and also including the use of diagraphs in sentences. And I specifically emphasize on diagraphs because a lot of the vocabulary that you use when you are creating sentences consists of diagraphs. You learned about diagraphs in the first semester, and this is the diagraphs are the consonant sound, a combination of two consonant sounds that form a new sound. Okay. So when we look at the vowels, Sesotho vowels, ditumonotsi, these are singular sounds that we have in Sesotho. Okay? So we have the mudumo a, mudumo e, so we can have mudumo e, depending on the word, mudumo o, ho, and then high pitched, and mudumo o, low pitch, pudi, where we say the o as an u, and then mudumo e, which is pronounced the same way, and mudumo u, which is also pronounced in the same way. So there isn't a difference between in pitch. Okay, then we have consonant sounds. We refer to these in Sesotho as ditumamoho. These are single letter sounds in the alphabet, and we have 19 of these singular sounds, with the exception of the C, V, and the Z in our South African orthography. Okay, there is a C in the Lesotho orthography as well. So when we look at question statements, in Sesotho we have examples of words and morphemes which can be used to indicate a question statement. Okay, so it can be a particular word that denotes a question in a sentence, or a particular morpheme like the morpheme na, which denotes that this statement is phrased as a question. Okay, and like in English, we have a punctuation mark that denotes, if a sentence is a statement that asks a question, which also applies in Sesotho as well. And we refer to a question mark in Sesotho as letshwao la potso. Okay, letshwao meaning a mark, and potso meaning a question. Thus, it is a mark used to indicate a question statement. Okay, so if I say to you, kenya letshwao la potso pulelong ena, which means insert a question mark in this sentence, or does this sentence require a question mark? Pulelo ena e hloka letshwao la potso na. Okay, so when we are formulating question statements, this is part of the punctuation that's used in sentences as well. The following words can be used as question words in Sesotho statements. So when we see these words in a sentence, we know that the sentence is denoting a question. It's asking us a question. And that sentence must therefore end with a question mark. Okay? O etsang, meaning what are you doing? O reng, what are you saying? O kae, it can be denote where, where are you? Or how are you? Okay? Ning, when is something. Kaing, by means of what. Zhuang, it can mean how. Okay, remember how we say the word zhuang also dictates its meaning. Okay, if I say o phela zhuang, yeah, then I'm asking you, how are you? In direct translation, how are you living? But essentially meaning, how are you? But if I say kgomo e ja zhuang, meaning the cow eats grass. So I can say, if I say zhuang, that means grass, whereas if I say zhuang, that means how. Then another question statement there, mang, denoting who. Ke mang, o mang, okay? Who are you? Then those are indicators of words that are used to denote a question in Sesotho. We can also use the morpheme na at the beginning or at the end of a sentence to denote that this sentence is a question. Na o aphela, or I can say, o aphela na, are you well? Okay, so it can come at the beginning or it can come at the end of the sentence, the na. Okay, so here are some examples in sentences. Dineo wetsang, mpho wentseng, tumi o tla etsang. Okay, so also they're denoting that when we express it also in different tenses. Now I added another layer here and I used 3 different tenses to express these question words. Okay, the morphemic change only occurs in the past tense. Okay, and you just have to learn in the past tense as it is there. Okay, so there are too many variations to say. If it's ang, you'll add a. If it's ing, you'll add a e. Okay, so you just have to learn the variations, especially in the past tense. Okay, because in the present and future tense, it will stay the same question word. Okay, ring, meaning saying. Okay, neo o ring humpho. Neo o itseng humpho. Neo o tla reng humpho. Okay, so the change there in the past tense, ring becomes itseng, meaning said or what did he or she say. Okay, so you can either translate it in Sesotho in that particular sense. We cannot say what did Neo said. Okay, we'd rather say what did Neo say or what did Mpho say to Neo. Okay, other examples there, Kai, o kae Sipho, o ne a le kae Sipho, in the past tense. So there's no morphemic change in the word kai per se, but the addition of the morpheme le to indicate the past tense. Okay, o tla ba kae, meaning that will then be in the future tense. Jwang, o bina jwang mamello, or you can say o bina jwang mamello, o binne jwang mamello, o tla bina jwang mamello. So for jwang, for instance, that one, it does not undergo any morphemic change, but the change occurs in the verb. Okay, so the verb itself, we express the verb in the past tense, okay, to denote the past tense in that particular example. Ning, oya ning lebenkeleng tumi, uile ning lebenkeleng tumi, o tlaya ning lebenkeleng tumi. Okay, again, these examples of question words here, they do not undergo a morphemic change. We simply either add morphemes. So for instance, in the example number 2 there, ning, u ile signals the past, okay, not o ya. Okay, ya is present, and then ile signifies the past tense. Tlaya, o tlaya, that indicates the future tense. Ka eng, this one particularly in this example means with what. Ontse o ja ka eng, o jele ka eng, o tla ja ka eng. Okay, so again in this particular example, the verb itself is the one that undergoes the morphemic change and not necessarily the question word in the sentence. Okay, so I want you to use the following question words to formulate your own sentences in Sesotho and use the structure, refer to the structure in the previous examples to create your own one. Okay, remember sentences can start with the proper noun, or you can also use pronouns to start the sentences, whichever you prefer, but I would prefer you practice using both beginning a sentence with the pronoun, and then also with the proper noun. Mang, Zhuang, Kaing, Kai, Kaing, Ning, Kai. Okay, so those are the examples there. Then another way of expressing words in the parts as statements, as question statements in Sesotho, is to use the morpheme na. In this particular example, it can be used at the beginning or at the end of the sentence. For instance, na o jele dijo. O jele dijo na. And in the English translation, did you eat food? Did you eat your food? Na o ya tropong. O ya tropong na. Na o tseba ho ngola. O tseba ho ngola na. Okay, so it's just a matter of preference, which one you prefer to use, but both ways are grammatically correct in Sesotho. So I want you here to practice again. Seems like quite an easy learning task, this one, where you rewrite the following sentences to indicate the morpheme na at the end and also at the beginning of the sentence as well. And following that, I also want you to translate these sentences as well into English. Ntate o tseba ho pheha. Bana ba robetse jwang. Ausi o bua haholo. Sipati o rwetse tuku. Mpho o bala buka. Okay, so that's basically using question mark in sentences. Okay, and then another punctuation mark that is also important when you're writing, especially when you want to join two clauses together in a sentence, is the use of the comma. So a comma is used to separate units of meaning in a sentence, and in Sesotho we refer to it as fielwan. Okay, it serves the same function as it does in English when it's used in Sesotho sentences as well. So complete the following sentences by inserting the correct punctuation mark. So obviously they're using the comma there in the sentences. Let me read the sentence in English first. I like eating with my hand, but COVID-19 has only caused me to eat with a spoon. Okay. Ke rata ho ja ka letsoho, fela COVID-19 entse hore ke dule ke ja ka kgaba. Abuse against women and children because it's painful, because it's killing our nation. Tlhekefetso ya basadi le bana e utlwisa bohloko hobane e bolaya setjhaba sa rona. Okay. Examples in Sesotho sentences, completing the sentences there. When you also look at the sentences, look at where you have the subject. It can be the subject or the noun and the verb, and then you have another subject or object following another verb or object in that sentence. Okay, so ngwana walla me ntate me wa ulela, sorry, me ulela me ntate le ngwana. Ngwana ulela me ntate le ngwana. So there the comma would come after me. Okay. Tumi o tseba ho tantsha, ho bina le ho loha moriri. Okay. And also look, another important thing there as well, consider where your conjunction is. I introduced you to the 3 basic conjunctions in the first semester. Le meaning and, impa, but, ubani, because. Okay. So consider that as well, né? That the comma will often come before the object or noun, before the conjunction. Okay. Tumi o tseba ho tantsha, ho bina le ho loha moriri. So there my comma would be after ho tantsha. Okay. Now o tseba dibini tsena, Black Coffee, Kabza the Small, Le Master KG. Okay. Yeah, he was quite a banger last year. Okay. So I just had to include him as well, so we don't forget about it. So there it would come after, separating nouns between my nouns in the sentences, and then it will come thereafter, black coffee. Okay. So I basically did that one with you guys. So I want you to create a sentence for each of the following nouns that consists of a use of a comma in the sentences. Happy, tafule, sifatshana, sinwamaphodi. Okay. So now the weather is really warm and we can all enjoy those. So again here, using the comma as well, using the following verbs. In the previous slide, I used examples of nouns. Okay, so those nouns must be there. Maybe you can use other nouns, separate those nouns and include other nouns in the sentences, and also use the conjunction. Okay, so we cannot use a comma in the sentence without having a conjunction. And the three basic conjunctions that I did introduce to you guys: le, which means and or with; me, meaning you can either say me, which is like, let me just see now. Impa is but. Me, oh, I keep forgetting now the English word. It's also similarly used to the word but, okay? However, yes, that's the word, okay? Me, however, ne? And then impa, but, and then another one there, hubane, which is because. So in this particular example, I refer to verbs, okay? Shebile in the sentences, shebile, nkile, luana, okay? So here, now we come to the diagraphs part, okay? So here I want you to complete this activity, and remember that the trigraphs, we would have done diagraphs and trigraphs. And basically trigraphs are those three consonant sound combinations in words, okay? So we have the mudumo hua, mudumo means sound, mudumo p, mudumo nwa, mudumo t, mudumo tw, mudumo tsw, okay? So I'm just going to read the sentences there with you. And this is an activity as well that you can also engage with and get feedback as well from your tutor. Ke efe kgwedi ya leshome selemong, ke efe kgwedi ya leshome selemong, ke meaning which is the 10th month of the year, okay? Ana ke lentswe le leng la makoti is the word another word for makoti, a bride. Na Tumelo o rata ho haholo ha thabile. Does Tumelo like when he is happy? What do you do when most of the time you're enjoying yourself or something is very funny or you are just happy, okay? Ena re ngotse teko ya Sesotho. Meaning during this time, we wrote a Sesotho test. E dula metsing a lewatle. Okay, let me just make that there so that it's correct. Okay, so e dula metsing a lewatle. This particular lives in the ocean. O tshela dijo ka le tapole le raja dibe monate. So to make food delicious, you can put potatoes and raja to make them nice, okay? So here you just add the correct, the most suitable Sesotho trigraph in the sentence, okay? So I want you to continue to engage with the tutor. If you need further assistance, you're also welcome to engage with me as well. And I hope you are all working on your oral assignment, which is due this week. So thank you so much, guys, for this week. We'll have another Q&A session in about a week or two from now, just to consolidate closer towards the end of the semester. But remember, the WhatsApp group is also there to communicate and to ask questions if you need to. So that's it for me for this week. I will see you in the next lecture session. Bye-bye.